In this Starfield build guide, I'll be teaching you how to create one of the most powerful builds in the game, the Stealth Sniper. Following the long tradition of Skyrim players making stealth archers, we've taken the concept to intergalactic travel in Starfield, and with fantastic success. Watch on to find out how to make the most OP build that makes very hard play like very easy. Before we get into it, however, please keep in mind that this build contains unavoidable early game spoilers due to showing some combat mechanics you might not be aware of. If you want to avoid all spoilers, read our written guide and don't go past the section labeled spoilers. The Stealth Sniper is a Starfield build focused around critical hits and the damage multipliers from sneak attacks, dealing devastating damage without having to get too close to enemies and staying out of harm's way most of the time. This is an excellent build for those who want to get more into combat and ramp up the difficulty, but don't want to feel like you're fighting bullet sponges. The damage you will deal is so good that you will get the benefits of hard mode, more legendary enemies, without having to empty entire clips into a single one, which can happen if you're not set up properly or haven't invested in combat skills on higher difficulties. Your first decision with this build will be to select a background and traits for your character. Since this is a stealth-focused build, I will suggest you pick one of the following. Cyber Runner. This background provides you stealth, security, and theft, which matches very well to the kind of infiltrator character that you're aiming to be. Stealth and security, which enables hacking, are must-haves for this build, while theft enables pickpocketing, which can be fantastic when you are virtually invisible. Industrialist gives you persuasion, research methods, and security. Persuasion is an incredibly useful quality of life questing skill that is helpful for any build, while research methods will save you a ton of time to unlock useful mods, and security will enable you to hack into systems. They are all a good match for this build. Soldier gives you ballistics, boost pack training, and fitness. These are all useful skills as they increase your damage with ballistic weapons, enables you to use boost pack, and buffs your oxygen supply. Or Long Hauler, which gives you weightlifting, piloting, and ballistic weapon systems. Weightlifting and piloting are core needed skills for any player because of the quality of life they deliver. Ballistic weapon systems will make your space combat just a tad easier as well. Now, when it comes to picking traits, there are some big decisions to make based on your intended gameplay. Some of the trait choices are roleplay or quest focused, such as kid stuff, but I will focus on traits that benefit the build. If you want to pick roleplay traits, you can, and it won't really affect your performance. These are just my suggestions for optimization. First is Alien DNA. This gives you a bonus to oxygen and health at the expense of food performance. It's well worth it in my opinion, particularly during the early sections of the game before your build has fully come together. And for number 2, I recommend Introvert. I usually recommend Extrovert because I love having companions, but for this build, your companions will be seen by enemies, even if you're not pulled out of stealth from it, which can get annoying, so I started leaving them behind. And lastly, Terra Firma. I spend most of my oxygen sprinting when exploring planets, so this is a must-have for me, although you could choose something else if you wish. This Starfield build is meant to completely come together after level 30 because you're aiming for 2 of the master skills that are only unlocked after spending 12 points in their respective skill trees. For this reason, your weapons and mods will have an impact on your performance as you level up before things are completely fleshed out, and you should pay close attention to these. Your first task will be to procure a rifle or sniper rifle that has some quality perks. This can be done by visiting the vendors of the game. An early but very useful place to check out is Roland Arms or Loretto Firearms in Aquila City, and the general vendor there as well. You may get some drops or loot of good weapons as you go, but keep in mind that weapon rarity, the color, doesn't always mean the weapon is better. The base damage of your weapon is the most important aspect, and that changes based on weapon level, so you want to make sure you keep updating your weapon as you level up. There are 4 different rarities in Starfield, and each is inherently related to the amount of perks the weapon possesses. You will not be able to change, remove, or add perks to your equipment, or at least not in any way that I've found, so you need to make it work with what you find. For the Stealth Sniper build, you want to find the following bonuses which are available for rifles. Hitman, plus 15% damage when aiming. You'll be aiming all the time, so this is a flat percentage increase to your damage. Instigating deals double damage to targets with full health. This is massive as you'll be aiming to take things down with one headshot. Anti-personnel, plus 10% damage against humans. Most of your enemies will be human, so this is a useful increase to your damage. And finally, Rapid, plus 25% increased attack speed. This is nice to have when you're dealing with legendary enemies that have shields and need more than one bullet. Weapon mods are also very important for this build, so you want to spend some points into research methods and weapon engineering to unlock all the mods available. My favorite mods to slot are Suppressor, a must-have mod to reduce the sound made when firing your rifle. If you don't have this, enemies will hear you, and stealth will be impossible. Get one of these on your rifle ASAP. High-powered. More damage per shot is always good. One shot, one kill is the name of the game, so you want as much damage as you can. Extra large magazine or the largest you can find. This means more shots before reloading. Less useful on standard rifles, but a must-have on sniper rifles or you'll be reloading very often. Long barrel. The increased range is needed to make sure you deal full damage at longer ranges. Increased accuracy is also nice from this. Tactical grip. The reload speed is nice since rifles can have long reload speeds. Additionally, stability is good as well. Medium or long scope. This is personal preference depending on your skill. However, long scopes will be too zoomed in tight quarters, making medium the better all-around option, though it won't be as good as long in wide open areas. Armor and apparel do not play a big role in offensive combat, but there are some special ones that you can get and benefit from. For apparel, I would suggest trying to get one of the ECS uniforms, such as the ECS Captain Action Wear, as this gives you a small percentage increase to your reload speed. For your spacesuit and helmet, you'll want to be on the lookout for the following perks. Chameleon, available for helmets and spacesuits, lets you blend in with the environment when not moving, similar to what you get from the concealment skill. Mechanized, a quality of life spacesuit perk that gives you plus 40 carry capacity. You simply cannot have too much carry capacity in this game. O2 filter, a helmet perk that gives you minus 25% oxygen consumption, which is great for sprinting, and you tend to do that a lot while exploring. And finally, combat veteran, a helmet perk that reduces incoming damage from human enemies by 15%. Again, most enemies you face are human, so this is good almost all the time. When it comes to skills for this Starfield Stealth Sniper build, players will likely be very torn about how to progress because there are some quality of life non-combat skills that make other facets of gameplay smooth. For the purpose of this build, I'll lay out the combat and build skills that you must have, and then mention the extras that you may want to get. I will assume that you can balance combat advancement with your own questing skills based on how you're finding the combat and how important that is to you. I will not revisit here how the skill system works in full, and you can check out our Starfield Best Skills Guide to get the full picture if you need help with that. Stealth in Starfield works very similarly to other Bethesda games, so most players will be familiar with the concept. Crouch, which is B or left control on the keyboard, will put you into stealth, and if you stay still, you will remain undetected. A small bar appears on the top center of your screen that will show hidden. This bar will change colors to yellow and red and become caution and danger based on whether enemies are close to detecting you or have made you out. The objective of the stealth sniper is to remain hidden all or most of the time. For this purpose, we'll put points into stealth and eventually make it so we can move faster while crouching without being detected. While you're hidden, all of your attacks on enemies will count as sneak attack and will trigger any special effects associated with it. Your companions will not pull you out of stealth, but they are easily seen by enemies and become a hindrance, so I suggest going into combat alone for the most part when using this build. When allocating skill points, you will not be able to refund skill points or respec your character, so make your choices wisely. You'll need to consider a smart combination of combat and quality of life skills, and you'll need to level up each skill challenge to progress as well. This means there's no easy way to tell you put 1 point here at this level, because your own progress will vary a bit from player to player. Your first order of business will be to begin unlocking and spending 4 points into the basic tier of skills. This means putting points into these tier 1 skills and upgrading them. Stealth. Self-explanatory, since this is a stealth build. Weightlifting. You'll want to carry more weight. Everyone does. Ballistics. This increases your damage done with any ballistics weapon, and we're using ballistics rifles. And is also good very early on in the game before you've acquired the right weapon that you need, since it will apply to other ballistics weapons as well. Research methods. Makes your research less costly and more efficient, and you need to research weapon mods in order to be able to craft them. Piloting, which is a quality of life skill, and just 1 or 2 points here is enough for most of the game. These skills set up your basic character with 2 quality of life features, piloting and weightlifting, while enabling you to research a lot more efficiently. Combat-wise, stealth will introduce you to the intended gameplay for the build, and ballistics will buff your damage. My preferred approach for this build was to max stealth, weightlifting, and ballistics ASAP, with piloting and research lagging behind based on what I needed. If you pick a background with persuasion or hacking, just 1 level can be enough for now and those. Once I unlock the advanced skills, or tier 2 skills that require you to spend 4 points in tier 1, I put points into the following. Pain tolerance. This is a flat damage reduction skill for the rare instance when you're found. You could take other skills if you want, but I prefer to have the security since I made this build for very hard. Rifle certification. This skill gives you a percentage increase to your rifle damage, which will compound with all the other bonuses you're looking to get. Weapon engineering. This skill will allow you to install better mods on your weapons, and it's incredibly important that you take it in order to optimize your offense, as you will have to swap weapons when leveling up due to damage degradation. After spending 8 points in a category, you'll be able to put points into expert skills. Aim for sniper certification. This combat skill has incredibly powerful bonus at rank 4, giving you 50% more damage when using a scope. This is huge and will soon merge with other bonuses to create fantastic numbers. Once you have spent 12 points on the physical and combat categories, you'll be able to unlock the master skills. These skills are incredibly powerful and make the build fully come together. Once you max these, you'll be able to one-shot enemies 10 to 20 levels above you without any issues. Concealment. One of the most overpowered skills in the whole game, it will make your sneak attacks do 4 to 10 times their normal damage, in addition to giving you chameleon stealth, which is very nice. Sharpshooting. This incredibly powerful master skill starts off by making your headshots crit with ranged weapons do a fantastic 50% more damage. It ramps up to include leg crits and all crits, eventually giving you a 25% crit chance buff when you kill an enemy with a ranged critical. This next section will include mild story spoilers, as the mechanics that we're going to showcase are unlocked as you progress the main quest. If you do not wish to see this, then please skip this section. After doing a couple of the main quest steps, you'll arrive at a point where you visit a temple and discover your first power. Powers are special abilities that you gain by completing special events inside temples spread across the galaxy. These can have a huge impact on your gameplay, so knowing where to get them early on can save a lot of frustration. Powers can be acquired in different orders and can be swapped on the fly so you can adapt to situations and make the best use of them. For this build, we'll be aiming to get the power Sense Star Stuff as soon as possible. This power will allow you to cast a sensory net that makes living creatures shine in a special light, allowing you to see them through walls and from a good distance. When playing a stealth character, knowing where enemies are is vitally important, so this is a fantastic power to pair with this style of play. You can obtain Sense Star Stuff by completing the temple Chi and the planet Piazzi 4C. Final tips. The key to this build is to manage your early game progression by procuring a rifle with the right bonuses and learn how to use stealth and sneak attacks. If you're playing on very hard, you'll want to take a slow and steady approach until you're familiar with the mechanics. Leveling up does not take long if you maximize your scanning, crafting, and questing, as discovering systems and locations also gives XP. You can also get an XP buff from sleeping in a bed, such as the one available on your ship. Your general gameplay approach will be to sneak into an enemy base, cast Sense Star Stuff, and then position yourself to take out each enemy from a distance without alerting others thanks to the suppressor on your weapon and the distance you'll be firing from. This will get easier and easier as you progress this build and gain more passive damage benefits, especially once you have concealment. There are probably a ton of fixed good weapons that players may find that work perfectly for this build, so I'd love to hear about them and what you found in the comments, and I'll add the notes to the written version of this guide for other players to check it out. Make sure to include where you found your loot. So that wraps up our Stealth Sniper guide. Obviously, this was a build we were going to make in this game. It's extremely deadly. It plays very, very well. It's a ton of fun to play and can make very hard difficulty a lot easier for people that are struggling. Stay tuned because we will have more Starfield builds coming mixed in with our Baldur's Gate 3 content. So we will be getting both of these games out at the same time. But if you have a particular build you want to see, please leave it in the comments below.